Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to continue from major land revenue settlements. Now, the first reform introduced by the company came in the form of Izadari system. It was followed by three land revenue arrangements introduced in the later half of the 18th century up to 19th century. These were the permanent settlement, the Mahalwari settlement, and the Ryotwari settlements. Now, Izadari system. The first Governor General of EEIC, Warren Hastings, realized that income from the land revenue collection was not enough to meet the company expense. A massive famine in the Bengal further reduced revenue. So the first Governor General of EEIC, that who was Warren Hastings, he realized that the income from the land revenue collection was not enough that it could meet the company expense. Further, a massive famine broke in the Bengal that further reduced the revenue to the British. Now, Hastings introduced a system by which the right to revenue collection was given to the highest bidder for the 5 year. This system came to be called Izadari or revenue farming. Those who were given this right were known as Izadars. So Hastings introduced a new system of the land revenue, collecting land revenue, in which the revenue collection was given to the highest bidder, means who bidded to give the highest revenue for the term of 5 years. And this system was called as Izadari or revenue farming. And those who had the right to, who were given right for the Izadari, they were known as Izadars. Now, however, this system failed because the bidding has no link with the land's actual productivity. Besides, the Izadars did not improve the land because it was auctioned periodically. As the Izadars wanted to get more revenue to pay to the company, the peasants were relentlessly exploited. So the Izadari system failed because the bidding did not have link with the land, the actual land productivity, because the Izadars did not want to improve the land, as every 5 years the land was auctioned and the Izadars wanted to get more and more revenue to pay to the company. So the peasants were ruthlessly exploited. They were very badly exploited. Now, the permanent settlement. The system of permanent settlement was introduced in 1793 by Lord Cornwallis. It covered Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, and Benares division of Uttar Pradesh, accounting for 19% of the British territory. So the peasant system was introduced in 1793 by Lord Cornwallis, and it mainly covered the area of Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, and Benares division of the Uttar Pradesh, that accounted for mostly 19% of the British territory, the territories acquired by the British. Now, according to this system, landowners or zamindars acquired hereditary right over land. So in this system, what happened? Opposite of the Izadari, the zamindars acquired the land hereditarily. In Izadari, the land was auctioned every 5 years, but in zamindari system, the landowners had the ownership of the land hereditary, means generation after the generation, the ownership of the land remained with the zamindars. Now, the farmers were reduced to the status of tenants, and they lost the right to use of pasture, forest land, irrigation canals, and fishing ponds. So the farmer's status was merely reduced to the tenant, only to the worker, and they had lost the right to use the pasture, the forest land, irrigation canals, and the fishing ponds. Now, zamindars had to pay a fixed amount of land revenue every year to the company, even under the adverse condition. If they failed to pay, their land was auctioned off. So it was the responsibility of zamindars to pay the fixed amount of land revenue every year to the company, and if he failed to do so, his land was auctioned. It was taken from the zamindar and it was auctioned. Now, whatever remained with the zamindars after paying the revenue was his profit. Initially, 89% of all revenue collected was handed over to the company, with 11% remaining with zamindar. So after paying the revenue to the company, whatever remained, it was the profit for the zamindars. Initially, the 89% of the revenue collection was given to the company, and only 11% was kept with the zamindars. Now, the land revenue was fixed permanently for 10 years at roughly 50% of the total produce. So the land revenue was fixed for the 10 years up to 50% of whatever amount of the production is there from the field. If the production of the field is of 10 kg, then the revenue was fixed for the 5 kg was to be given as the revenue. Now, the advantages of this system to the company. So the company created a class of zamindar who intermediated between them and peasantry and acted as a natural ally in event of any rebellion by the peasants. So the company created a class who were known as zamindars, and they worked as intermediates between the peasants and the British, and they acted as a natural barrier in case any peasants rebelled. Now, under this system, the income of EEIC from the land revenue was secure, regular and stable. This helped the company to meet its growing expense of the military expeditions and administration. So under this system, the land revenue was secured of the English East India Company, and it was stable, and it helped the company to grow and meet its growing expense along with maintaining the army and the administrations. Further, zamindars were motivated to increase agricultural production as the rate of revenue to be paid to the British was fixed. They could keep the surplus after paying their due to the company. So further, zamindars were motivated in this system to increase their land production, as if they increase the land production after whatever amount fixed they paid to the British, they could keep the remaining of the grain with the remaining of the amount with them, remaining of the revenue with them. So the amount was fixed, the fixed amount if they give to the British, the rest of the remaining amount would be with them. Now, effect on the peasants. We will continue from here tomorrow. Thank you.